Hey Jizz, we're going to continue learning about the purpose of Israel, the purpose of the nation of Israel. And what does that have to do with consciousness, the levels of consciousness? And we're going to look at the control of information in this video and how the nation of Israel, okay, when we accepted the Torah, this is an objective truth. That's written in the Torah. It has the whole story of creation, okay? If only we can understand what's written there and what was passed down in an unbroken chain to us in today's date here, 5,785, the end. Okay, because the whole story, like I've been saying in the Torah, if we consider this, if we think about this, it's very interesting. We know the whole story of creation, from the beginning, Bereshit, to the middle of the story, which was basically Purim, and the end of the story, okay, which we know that this nation of Israel is going to be redeemed, and the temple will be built, which will reconnect God, so to speak, in our reality, which is 5-dimensional. 3 are physical, 1 is spiritual. The information is here, and 1 is time. And the practice of Judaism, a certain way, a specific way, only one way, okay, will allow us as human beings, and we're going to get into this a little bit, but again, I recommend you go and start watching the videos from defending the tradition, okay, and then through the different levels of consciousness. So you can understand each level, from mineral to plant to animal to Medaber, which is speaker, and how that connects with this understanding that we are supposed to get. We're supposed to learn the Torah, not just to learn it, not just to do the stuff, but for the reason of understanding our purpose in life and understanding our purpose as a nation of Israel. Why are we Jews? Why was that night of Pesach different than all the other nights? What's going on in our reality? And where is this all going? And what even was the purpose of creation in the first place? Okay, so that's all what we're supposed to understand, knowing, okay, rooting our understanding in the wisdom of God. Okay, otherwise we run the risk, okay, of not achieving at least the conscious level of a speaker, which was the beginning of humans. Adam, okay, Adam Arishon was created as a new creation, okay? Everything that was created before Adam was not the same as Adam. Adam is special. Mankind is special because God blew into the nostrils and now of this creation, and we have the ability to speak. But how we use our speech, as we've learned, is of the utmost importance of whether we obtain this level of Medaber Chai, or if we sink down to a lower conscious level of Chai Medaber. I have different videos on those, as well as achieving what the purpose was, as I understand it, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but this is making sense, and is that, and we're told by all the rabbis also that God made man, okay? But the last thing that Adam Arishon had to do was increase his level of consciousness, I guess, to this level, Yisrael. That's the pinnacle of creation. So we're going to look at also, the most recent video I made was discussing basically information control, and especially in our current time, okay? The control of information is what you're basing your knowledge and understanding about reality on. And if you're not careful where you get that information, if you're not sure that it's aligning with the wisdom of God, then chas v'shalom, you will never reach the intended purpose of why you're even here, why are you living, and why are you a Jew? Okay, so we looked at a TED Talk from 2022 from Catherine Marr, the CEO of NPR, and she was speaking, and now I think she's the CEO maybe of Wikipedia. Again, as we've seen also since COVID, the gatekeepers of information, the fact checkers, okay, the fact checkers, are they checking the facts against the wisdom of God? Or are they checking the facts to make sure that they're controlling the information so they can manipulate your understanding and keep you lower at this animalistic conscious level where they can herd you and where they can, treat you like an animal, which is what we see that certain groups of our in our world want to do. So this is something very interesting. When I saw that video, she says, reverence for the truth. So again, we're going to say the objective truth is in the Torah, the objective truth. And we're going to see why this is the covenant, okay? This is the covenant. And it was given to Israel. That's the whole point, okay? And this is why over time they rise up to annihilate us. They want to destroy this. Why? Because if they destroy objective truth in reality, then it's just whatever they feed their animals, okay, to keep you at a lower level of consciousness, thereby, because they hate God, they're anti-God, they serve a different God. And we can see also in that past video where I present a clip of Catherine Marr talking about the fragmentation of reality, now no longer objective reality, but rather subjective reality, which is more cohesive to a splendid, cultural experience, I guess, okay? That's just the exact same arguments because they're not creative in the unholy side with how they do things. That's why King Solomon, who had a lot of wisdom, told us that there's nothing new under the sun. Therefore, we should look at the way that they do the things. And we have all of this history. We have all of the information from our smartest minds who understood reality, who have told us left their information for us to learn. So we can understand how they operate, okay? So I brought a tractate. It was Sota, I think it's 13. A or B, where they bury, when the 12 tribes went to bury Yaakov Avinu, and they got distracted by all of Esav's, word salads there and possibilities, and they just engaged in that, and they got confused and they got distracted. And so we're all well aware of the well-known saying, like, give them bread and circus or whatever and distract them. This is the purpose. Okay, to lower your consciousness, because if you're all getting together and instead of talking about sports or politics or whatever you're talking about, frivolous things, materialistic things, okay, and not wondering what's the purpose of life, why are we all here, what's happening, where are we getting our information from, what's the wisdom that we can learn, and at least not making sure that we're Medaber, that level of consciousness, then we are becoming creatures of habit, and we are not gatekeeping our own conscious level. We're not straining and making sure what's entering into our consciousness or subconsciousness, okay, is not going to help us achieve the purpose of our life and the purpose of creation. So throughout history, obviously, knowledge. So I was going to say that. So what Catherine Marr said in her 2022 TED Talk was reverence for the truth might be a distraction. So she's saying instead of all the distractions that they're throwing at us with all the divisive, things that are happening in our society, which a lot of them are, controlled, false flags, whatever. She's saying that the truth is a distraction. So it might be getting in the way of us finding common ground and getting things done. What things do we need to get done? What things do we need to get done as opposed to just living in the world that God created and coming to some sort of conscious awareness of the Creator? What other things are we supposed to be getting done, Catherine? I'd like to understand. So what she's saying is that one reason that we have such glorious chronicles of human experience, when if you actually go and look at all of the chronicles of human experience, there's a lot of suffering. So maybe she thinks that that's glorious, because I'm sure she does. It's one of the reasons that we have all those glorious human experiences, and all forms of different culture, is because we acknowledge that there are many truths. Everybody has their own truths, which is what we can see in this year 5785. Everybody has their own truth, and everything is fragmented, including our consciousness at this point. We are not able to keep together, okay, to make a cohesive argument using our words in order to explain or to discuss things with wisdom and understanding. And rather, what we see a lot of these fragmented subjective truth holders is just a complete breakdown when you ask them to defend their position or explain their position. Just a complete emotional breakdown. So throughout history, knowledge has been the tool of enlightenment and a source of power. Ancient records reveal that calculated destruction and concealment of repositories, okay, like the Library at Alexandria, which was, a lot of all the wisdom from all the different cultures and whatever was gathered into this Library of Alexandria. And we also know the whole story because, again, the whole history from creation to the middle to the end, the whole story is in the Torah. And so we know what happened when the king of Egypt basically wanted to add the Torah to that repository of information, and they destroyed it. So and also too, we know that there is a lot of information that we don't have access to in the Vatican. Okay, so again, keepers of the information will now direct you and fact check for you all your information to control what you know, your knowledge, your da'at, okay? And if you don't have proper knowledge, proper information, you're going to have zero understanding. And if you have zero understanding, you're never going to reach this level of Medaber chai, okay? And then for a Jew, because a Jew has a Jewish soul, you can go higher with the practice of Judaism. Okay, that's why you did the 613 mitzvot. That's why you pray every day. That's why you're supposed to reach 100 prayers, okay? So that you use at least your mouth to help keep you conscious. That's why you do it. That's the understanding. Okay, now yes, there are a lot of people who do the things and have no understanding of why they're doing it. But Baruch Hashem, they do it because it's still helping you use your mouth for prayer and for gratitude to Hashem. At least if you're completely disconnected from God, from the wisdom, from the Torah, from the practice of Judaism properly, okay, you're disconnecting from your soul, and then therefore your reality is fragmented. You're not getting your information from trustworthy sources, and therefore you have no understanding for the most part, no proper understanding. Okay, so nowadays, okay, in 5785, towards the end of time, now what we're seeing with the internet is, which seems like a seemingly open source of information, but it's increasingly monitored and manipulated by a few corporate and political gatekeepers, which create a new dimension of information control. Okay, just like Catherine said, if she's the CEO of Wikipedia, I should have checked that. But I mean, we saw also the internet gets scrubbed all the time of information. People delete all of their whatever, whenever the wave of public opinion doesn't go their way. So this for this era that we're in, the end time, the fight for the information and the knowledge is very important. And for humanity as a whole, okay, to reach this level of at least Medaber, speaker, okay, and a higher consciousness, the access to true wisdom is essential. It's essential. So what I'm also saying is that if for example, okay, because I know that not only Jews watch my videos, Baruch Hashem, that's fine. But the reason that the Jew is expected also to get to this higher level of consciousness is, like I said, because of the soul. That's why when a non-Jew, somebody who is born not from this lineage, okay, has to undergo a conversion process, a proper conversion process, an orthodox, strict adherence to the Judaism, to the 613 mitzvot, to everything proper, done properly, okay? No reform conversions. Your reform conversion isn't going to get you a Jewish soul. So that's the whole point. And it dilutes the nation of Israel into not what its intended purpose is. Okay, hopefully I'm explaining this properly, but you can convert to Judaism and get a Jewish soul and increase your awareness from a speaker to Israel. That's why, again, when we see Rabbi Akiva says, blessed or beloved is man, because he was made in the image of God. Okay, but the tikkun, the thing that we're supposed to do as mankind is to elevate our consciousness and have an awareness of God. And at the highest level, that is called Israel. That's the pinnacle of creation. The Library of Alexandria was one of the greatest collections of ancient wisdom and was a symbol of collective human knowledge, but it was also intellectual power. The destruction of this library is often attributed to various ruling powers that may have feared its potential to elevate the common understanding. Likewise, the Binah, okay? Likewise, it is believed that the Vatican holds restricted ancient manuscripts, potentially concealing them to control the theological and philosophical narratives accessible to the public. Okay, the real truth of everything, I guess. So the consolidation of knowledge in the hands of a selected few ensure that the power remains centralized with access to transformative information denied to the broader masses. Okay, you can stay, like we've heard since COVID, a sheeple. Okay, you stay here. Talk about politics, talk about BLM, talk about all the things that don't matter or that are controlled narratives. Okay, do not, they don't want you to explore really the purpose of life and the meaning of life, and like they used to get together to discuss philosophy and all these things. So from a Torah perspective, what I'm saying is that the purpose of creation is for humankind, and particularly the nation of Israel, to achieve a higher level of spiritual and intellectual consciousness. We can't just do it with consciousness. We have to have a spiritual receptivity, says King Solomon. Okay, and the way we get that spiritual receptivity is to work on it. We have to purify ourselves, as we discussed when talking about the level of consciousness Israel. We have to become pure-minded people. We have to run everything that we're thinking or listening to or whatever we think we know through the processor of Binah and understand it. Is it aligned with the wisdom of God or not? Okay, so according to the Torah, the purpose of creation is for humankind to achieve a higher level of spiritual and intellectual consciousness. And the Rambam emphasized that the Torah is unique in its objective truth, revealing principles that transcend human understanding. Okay, so that is the raw wisdom, the raw information. And in learning the Torah, one engages directly with that wisdom and safeguards against the subjective bias often imposed by human institutions or controlling whatever, okay? Like Catherine Marr there, who says, we no longer need this objective truth. We all have our subjective truth. So this engagement with the Torah is particularly crucial when these external sources start to manipulate information, okay? So like we saw again with COVID, okay? Very, very important. to understand what's going on and to safeguard against that. So as the Talmudic sages taught, if not for my covenant day and night, I would not have established the ordinances of heaven and earth. There would be no point to Bereshit, to bringing this world and this reality into existence, if no one was going to achieve this level, Israel, which is what Adam Arishon was supposed to achieve, which is what Yaakov Avinu did achieve, and what we as Jews are expected to achieve by learning the Torah and practicing Judaism in the way that we are supposed to practice it, and not in new and different ways. Okay, in today's digital world, knowledge may appear abundant, yet it's vulnerable to manipulation by a few powerful entities, as we've discussed. Companies like Google and other tech giants have the ability to censor or alter information, subtly shifting public perspective or narratives in a certain direction. Okay, unlike physical texts, digital information can be selectively removed, edited, or reshaped all in real time. Okay, making it difficult to distinguish between authentic records and manipulated narratives. As we can see, if we keep on going with this gender stuff, okay, in a generation or so, it could be that all of humanity thinks that there are no genders. I mean, it just think about that for a while. Think about if we keep going in this direction, okay, where we know that textbooks are selectively telling us what to think about history, about everything. So the Torah is a fixed and divine blueprint for reaching this higher consciousness, okay? The Torah and the nation of Israel, okay, who accepted the Torah, and it is the covenant of God, with God. Okay, when we accepted it at Har Sinai, we have stuck to this objective truth. This is the anchor. This is the anchor in our reality. No matter what happens around us, we're still doing the same things. We're still practicing Judaism the exact same way. Okay, and we are still trying to understand our reality with this knowledge and information, okay, and trying to achieve a higher consciousness, and Bezrat Hashem, the pinnacle, which would be to achieve this Israel. And when we do, by the way, when enough of us do, the king will come. The Mashiach is not coming to save anybody if there's no one to save, if there's no one that's going to realize it as it's happening, not after the fact. We have to, there's no point to having a king if there's no nation, right? So become part of this nation by actively trying to understand reality, actively try to use your speech to raise your consciousness and purify yourself with the things that we're supposed to do, the spiritual practices of Judaism, which may seem like dogmatic practices to you with no understanding. They did to me before I understood, okay? But when you do understand that this is the path to purifying your soul so that you can have a receptivity to this information, then we start to see things connecting, okay? So the Talmud teaches that the Torah is a tree of life in Sanhedrin 59a, a phrase indicating that the Torah is not only a set of teachings, but a living, eternal truth. Engaging with Torah is not merely intellectual. Like I said, it connects one to the divine consciousness that transcends the human experience. So we need to understand that in a world where the centralization of knowledge increasingly mirrors the power structures of ancient empires, okay, the Torah stands as the ultimate immutable source of wisdom. The danger of a digital manipulation by modern day gatekeepers serves as a reminder of the value of authentic, unaltered truth. That is why I made that video called Defending the Tradition. It cannot be altered. Not how you are a Jew. You're not a Reformed Jew. There is no such thing. There is no such thing. And you need to understand that for yourself. You need to obtain some knowledge, some information, and understand the wisdom. Okay? So again, I leave a list of my of what I think is essential to start off, a reading list in my descriptions of pretty much all of my videos. And so through the study and the observance, the nation of Israel has the responsibility to safeguard the consciousness of humanity, okay? Even though everyone hates us and everyone wants to destroy us and everyone blames us, it's because the actual nation of Israel is undercover. You're not seeing those people, okay? You're not mostly, for the most part, seeing the people that are engaged in the spiritual practice of Judaism and the conscious effort of learning Torah, because they are learning Torah. They're sitting all day learning Torah. You're not seeing them going to the White House and going to, hockey games and going to light the menorah in public and demanding that everybody, be okay with that. That's not these people. It's not this nation. Okay, it's people doing things in a different way. It may be Jews, but it also may not be Jews. Who knows? Okay, just because you look like a Jew doesn't mean you are a Jew, especially not now in the end of time. So, as we've seen in the series of videos up until now, that this is a very important subject. It's a very important it's very important for us as humanity to make sure that our conscious level does not drop, okay? And for the nation of Israel, it is of the utmost importance that we all understand what being a Jew means. And we must realize that everything that is happening in our reality is to shake you out of some sort of habitual life that we've been living, okay, thinking that everything's fine. We're all assimilated. Everyone loves us now. There's never going to be a Holocaust because of the state of Israel. And yet, again, in all my videos, I pretty much explain the Zionist state of Israel. And that's also in my video about defending the tradition, why the nation of Israel opposed secular political Zionism. Because what we don't need in our reality is just another one of the 70 nations. We don't need to become the 71st nation and then everyone will love us and stop trying to kill us in every generation. There will never be another Holocaust, okay? Because now, if you integrate, okay, all of this understanding and you're wondering what happened on October 7th, where was the IDF? Where was the state of Israel? What's happening? Okay? Are we going to just force everyone to shut up and call it anti-Semitism when they're trying to point that out to us? When they're trying to say, hey, something's wrong with the Zionist state of Israel. And we're saying, a lot of Jews are saying, well, we're Zionists. We're all Zionists. Jews are all Zionists. That is incorrect and a misunderstanding of the information. And the reason is because we do have no knowledge, because most Jews today, sadly, do not read the Torah. And part of that is because we have lost the ability to speak the holy tongue of Hebrew. But all of that is rectifiable, okay? Again, defending the tradition. Rabbi Yaakov Kuli made for us Ma'am Loaz. It's all in my description. Please start reading, start learning, start obtaining your own knowledge, because King Solomon, okay, who had the most wisdom, tells us that you're a fool if you don't have your own knowledge, because you're easily misled. But you can obtain knowledge, Baruch Hashem, and I hope that you do.